This is a view of my Google Drive, and here you have different files that students shared with me. This in particular was a writing diagnostic I did at the beginning of the term, and it served two purposes. Students were to write a short paragraph in response to a prompt after they read a couple articles. So I could see how their reading comprehension was, if they could incorporate sources and basically assess their writing. But by having them do it on a Google Doc, I was also able to train them, so to speak, in how to um, creating a document and how to name files correctly, how to share the documents with me. So it served two purposes. Um, the one of the advantages also of having all these documents organized in my Google Drive is that I can star and highlight documents that I want to get back to later, or maybe I want to talk to those particular students when I see them. I can also see when it was last modified, so I can see if students go in and make changes, or I can also see if they've actually opened the document after I gave feedback. So that can be pretty helpful. But now I want to show you how to install an app, because I didn't give feedback to these using Google Docs directly. I actually used Kaizena, which is a really helpful app. So let's open Mohammed's essay, or paragraph, I should say. So you will need to choose open with. I already see Kaizena here because I have it installed, but if you didn't have it installed, you would just need to click here where it says connect more apps, and you would search for Kaizena, see it there, and connect it. After you do that, every time you right click and you say open with, you'll get this Kaizena here so that you can actually open your document using this program or this app. So there it's opening, and we'll get a view now of how the file looks through Kaizena. So I can actually give feedback through tags. That means that I can categorize the different comments I'm making and connect them perhaps to the rubric, which is really helpful. It's a new feature actually in Kaizena. So let's say I'm going to highlight this first part because I want to comment on this first person use here. For argumentative essays, we were not encouraging the use of first person pronouns. So I'm going to write here, and that's under use of language. That's one of the categories in my rubric. So there. Use of language, this wouldn't be a terrible offense, but it would definitely not, I couldn't say it's great use of language. So I'm going to put it down here for 2. I can give it a color. I tend to do all my language use comments in blue. You can also skip that part. And if I wanted to link this to a website, I would, give a link here. But right now I'm just going to write a comment and say, avoid sounding too personal and do not use first person pronouns, such as I, me, my. Comment. Now, if every time I make that comment to students that do commit that error, I want them to, I want them to see this comment, then I save that tag. And in the future, I have the option of not rewriting all of this. I can just give that same comment. So let's look, let me give you an example. Here, and I believe, I can write use of language, and I believe, same kind of offense. And look, I have the option of giving this feedback, or let's say this time I want to record and say, so I'll say, yeah, and record a comment. Mohammed, you don't need to say I believe. If you just start by saying that people can do 2 or more tasks at the same time, I know it's you that believes that, but there's no need to sound so personal and say that there. You can just skip that altogether. So there you go. That's recorded. And students can just hit play and hear it.
Mohammed, you don't need to say I believe.
So,
if you just start by saying...
If I actually want to explain things a little better, they can do that. And I can delete this one. Maybe the second time, I don't want them to see it there. I just want them to hear my comment. And finally, let's say I want to create a tag where I am giving a student a link to a website where they can read a little bit more about that particular error they're committing. I would just need to highlight that section. So here's a run-on sentence. It's still use of language under my rubric. I'm still going to give it a 2 because it's not good language use. This tag is irrelevant, so I'll just delete that really quick. And I'll add a resource. I know the cool thing is that this is going to be saving that resource for future use. So, the first time you type it, it's a little work, but then you can recycle. And I'm going to attach that resource. So it means that when the student clicks on this, he's going to get a link to this particular website. And in this case, I'm using Purdue Owl's website and their explanation for run-on sentences. So there you go. There's a lot to play around. I wanted to show you just some basic tags and different features you can use with Kaizena.